careful. Hello everyone. So this episode is all about how I became a registered nurse here in Australia. So for those who she's smiling at me, trying to get my attention. Anyway, for those who visited this channel for the first time, my name is Zadie. I am the mom of little Antonette right there. So originally, I came from the Philippines. My educational background is Bachelor of Commerce, major in Management Accounting. When my hubby and I went back to the Philippines after living in Italy for 2 years, I started reading different kinds of books because I love books. No. I have read most of the books that were displayed in the bookshelf at home in the Philippines. And the only books that I did not touch that time were the medical books of my brother-in-law, who is a doctor. He is brilliant. He was one of the top notchers in the physician licensure exam in the Philippines. One day I was so bored and I have nothing else to do. I was thinking, what else can I read? So that's when I noticed all of his medical books at home. And I started reading. I first started the anatomy medical book. I could remember how thick that book was. And that's when I got fascinated about the human body. And then I proceeded reading the physiology and then the pharmacology, pharmacology book. My hubby encouraged me to study medicine, but I told him it's too expensive and it will take so much time for me to become a doctor. It's just that I really got too interested, very interested about the human body, about how the body functions, and everything about the medicine too, like in terms of the drugs, because I read the pharmacology book. And so I told him, instead of studying medicine, I'm gonna take up the nursing course. That's when I decided to enroll myself in a nursing school in the Philippines. And I studied for a year and a half. And by that time, I had a friend from primary school who is actually here in Australia. And that time she was studying nursing. And we had a conversation through social media. And later on, she encouraged me to, if I still want to go abroad, I might consider doing the nursing course here in Australia rather than finishing it in the Philippines and taking the licensure exam there. And that time I was already at my 30s. So she told me, in terms of finding a job as a nurse, it would be very competitive because there are younger ones, younger than myself. So after weighing everything in our life in the Philippines, hubby and I felt like we might give ourselves one more chance to go abroad, because the first one was in Italy, and we thought, he told me that we were still young that time, and he told me that we might find a better future for ourselves, for our family. So in the end, we decided to take the plunge And so I gathered all the documents, including my first bachelor's degree, and also the most important thing, which is part of the visa process, and also the enrolling to the university here in Australia, is to take an English test. And that time, it was the IELTS, and I had to what do you call this, achieve the 7 band score in all components of the IELTS, from speaking, listening, what else, reading and writing. I should get 7 on each of those components. I attended a class for the IELTS, and that time it was really in demand. There was a, sino opposite sa job fair, Habi? There was this international fair that was held in Marco Polo Hotel in Davao City. All the universities in Australia came there to invite those who are interested. And so we attended, and then we tried to see which university I would like to attend to. And I decided to go to Australian Catholic University. And it was the IDP Cebu who assisted me with the visa, and also they helped me to get into the university. So they helped me with all the documentations and all. And one thing that I could remember when I applied for the student visa, and this one was the higher education sector subclass 573 visa. And one thing that I did was to write a letter addressing to the Immigration of Australia, stating my reason why I chose to study nursing in Australia rather than in the Philippines. So I had to really give a good reason, what was my intention of going to Australia. Anyway, I did that letter, and the IDP lodged the visa on our behalf, because hubby was also included in my application. And just 1 week after, we received the visa. And that visa, I don't know if it is still what do you call this, if it is still available at this time at 2021, because I applied that visa in 2014. But that visa did not require show money, you know, the money that you have to prove that you are able to fund yourself. I only did a statutory declaration, as well as the one who sponsored me, that there will be that allocated funds for me to live here in Australia while doing the study. So to give you an insight, the Bachelor of Nursing here in Australia is only a 3-year course. And however, that 3-year course is really, for me, it was a rigid study. Here, whenever you attend to any class, you are expected that you have an overview or idea about what will be discussed. And the study here is more on research and the use of evidence-based practices. So then that research in every, I can still remember I was a bit stressed because it was really challenging for me to complete the whole degree, because in every subject we have a final research, and that research can take up to 40 to 60% of your grade. So I really have to make sure that I do what do you call this? I have to do the best that I can to get a good mark. That 3-year course also includes the placements, where we are, so placements is equivalent to the OJT in the Philippines, or on the job training. Yeah, when you get to your second semester as a freshman, you will have your first placement, and I think I had my placement in the hospital, but it was more on in the aged care and rehabilitation ward. Before completing the course, the education provider or the university that you will be attending to will be the one to what do you call this? Register you as a student, as a nursing student in the APRA. So APRA is the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency. Hala, tama ba akong giingon? APRA, yeah, I got it right. So it's the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency. Regulation Agency. So APRA is equivalent to, what do you call this in the Philippines? The PRC? What is PRC, Habi?
Philippine Regulation Commission.
Is it Regulation Commission?
Regulatory yata.
PRC Philippines is equivalent. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's the Professional Regulation Commission in the Philippines. So that is, APRA is equals to the PRC in the Philippines. Here, the university will register us as a student nurse, and they will be the one to also forward all our results when we finish the degree. And we can apply for the nursing registration 3 months before we finish or complete the course. So that time, I think 2017, I was supposed to finish the course in December, but I already applied in October for my nursing registration. Part of the requirements of the APRA to be a registered nurse here, especially for those like me who was an international student, and also the same as to those who are overseas nurses, needs to provide their international criminal history, their health, if they have health impairment. Third is their English test assessment. And what's the fourth? Of course, the fourth will be your identity, your passport. And so, because my case is different from the usual registered nurses in the Philippines who are licensed and under, who are, what do you call this? Registered in the PRC, because I did not do the board exam in the Philippines. So, my kind of application in APRA is quite different. No, when the APRA received my final result, final grades from the Australian Catholic University, then that's when they emailed me and they informed me. I think I received my registration on the 23rd of January 2018. So that was the time that I was finally I was officially a registered nurse here in Australia. And so that was one of our victory ni Habi. We have been through to a lot of difficulties in life, and I think that was one na happy me. Kay Marag, we were able to overcome one of the rough roads in our lives. I think that's it, and I might do another video if you are interested. If you're interested to know about the benefits that the registered nurses receive when they work here in Australia. I can also discuss a little bit of the salary that the registered nurse, how much does the registered nurse get? Unsa ba na pag-ingon sa English? Get paid. It's so hard to speak in English. I'm trying. So, yeah. So, bye-bye. Okay. Here. Dara imo hanak. Oh. Na. Okay, so till next time.